Hey everybody, this is Mrs. Peterson with part 3 of Photopia. So what we're going to do in this one is we're going to do some cropping, and then we're going to do a little bit of specialization for the faces, okay? Especially Seraphina's, because she's the star here. All right, the first thing I wanted to show you is cropping. All right, so just like on your cell phone, it's probably the same. It's the same logo here, the crop tool, and you'll see this plus sign. It's going to let me choose what I want to crop. All right, so what I'm looking at is, first of all, she is on the rule of thirds, but I want to make her eyes a little bit more on the rule of thirds, and since her toes were cut off, I'm going to crop a little bit off here because when you have a full body, you want to see the full body. All right, so I want to make it obvious that her feet weren't cut off. Also, if you're working with older women or people who are a little bit larger, okay, you can also kind of make them look a little bit thinner by just like cropping to the edge. So here I go. I'm going to crop, and this is super bright, and this is a little bit of a distraction. This is the door frame, okay? So I'm going to take all of those off by making a crop to put Sarah on the rule of thirds, right? And my choice is I'm going to crop a little bit of myself out so I can keep her in the rule of thirds. Now, I just did this, and what I want you to know is there's two things wrong. Okay, first of all, over here, see this outline? I am on the wrong layer. It's not going to do anything. I have to pick a layer that actually has a picture on it, and it's going to do the cropping. The second thing right here is when I did that crop, it was freehand, so it could be any rectangle shape I want. But I actually want to stay true to a fixed ratio. I want to make it look like if I put it in a frame, and right now it's chosen a square frame, the 1-to-1, and I'm going to go ahead, I know this is probably 3x4, let's see. 3x4, all right? So I have now told it that I want it to keep that ratio so that if I print it, then it will go in a regular frame, all right? So now I've got this corner that I can move, and it's going to stay in that ratio, all right? So I know that I'm going to move it so her feet, and she's going to have a little headroom here. So once I get it to the size about where I think I can actually move it around, all right? So I have now cut out this door. I've cut out this door. I've cut out that light. A little bit of a problem here because I still have cut some of her shoe. So I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. All right. And I want her right on that rule of thirds. So now I've got her eyes on the rule of thirds. Grandma's looking at her. She's taking the camera, so I'm going to let her take that. Here's my tic-tac-toe. She's right there on that, okay? Notice I had to move her over a little bit. There is one other thing that you can do if your picture isn't quite straight. This is really pretty straight, but in the background you can see that it's a little bit off. You can go up to a corner here and just rotate it just a tiny bit to get it straight with the wall. Okay, and then I'm going to push the check mark to show that I cropped it. So here's my crop. I push the check mark, it's thinking, and now we have it cropped. So I cropped it from 12 to about 10, right? I'm going to get a little bit closer in there for our next thing. So if you put your magnifying glass over about the area that you want to see, see, you get it, eye, and you zoom in there, it'll kind of keep that in the center. But if you put your magnifying glass just anywhere, just because you want to get closer, then it's actually going to go wherever you put it. All right, so again, I'm going to be working on her eyes, so I'm going to get a little bit closer into her eyes. All right, Oh, look at those eyes. All right, and then I'm going to use this tool over here, which is called the Sharpen Tool, okay? So the Sharpen Tool is a really great tool to use on eyes, all right? And I'll show you why. First of all, here's my Sharpen Tool is so small I can't even see it. So I'm going to have to go up here and make the size a little bit bigger, right? Now you can start to see it. See that circle? And you want to get it about the size of their pupil. So I have it right about the right size. I might bring it down just a tiny bit. Now I will tell you this, the internet is a little bit slow compared to Photoshop. And I am not pushing or I'm not clicking my mouse right now. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over the top and over the bottom of her eye. Once or twice. You don't want to do it 3 or 4 times. I'll show you what will happen if you do that. Now, what it will do is it'll usually bring out the eyelashes and it'll make their eyes just a little bit sharper. So here I go. Let's find that. Here's my click. So here I am. And now I'm going to sharpen over the top and release. And in Photoshop, you can actually watch it go over. Right now it's thinking, okay? It's thinking because this is online and it's making it happen, right? And then I'm going to go along the bottom and do the same thing. It's thinking, it's thinking, it's going to show up. Well, it didn't quite get there, so I'll just click twice. Right, so I just clicked. Now, if you do it too much, all right, this is what's going to happen. Okay, so I'm going to go over her right eye once. I'm going to go over it twice. Still thinking. Okay, now I'm going to go over it 3 times.